When I last spoke, that was on New Year's Eve day, I made a commitment to have a conversation with you. My commitment came about because of growing turbulence in the global energy sector and the impact of lower oil prices on economies such as ours. In the past 4.5 years, we have managed to reverse economic decline, to bring stability, to restore confidence, and to return to a path of growth. We have delivered opportunities for us to truly rise to our vast potential for real growth and advancement. Today, the challenges being experienced due to price turbulence in the global energy sector have created the conditions where our reforms, strength, and resilience are being tested. Tonight, I want to give you the assurance that we shall navigate safely through these turbulent times. The times call for taking full responsibility, as we always have, and ensuring that we put people and country first. In this way, we can confront our challenges, and together we will emerge stronger. Let us take a look at the global energy situation. Over the past months, the price of crude oil moved from a high of US $107 per barrel in June 2014 to US 48.65 at the close of business yesterday. This represents about a 55% decline. The 2015 budget, as you may recall, last September, was based on the projected revenue and expenditure using price assumptions of US $80 per barrel for oil and US $2.75 per MMBTU of gas. The downward trend in oil prices globally has also impacted natural gas prices, and other petroleum chemicals are beginning to follow a similar path. A number of forces in the international petroleum markets have set off this downward trend, namely the application of new technology, which has increased shale oil and gas production in North America. 2, the economic slowdown, which has reduced oil demand by some of the world's largest oil consumers, including China, Japan, and Europe. Thirdly, the leveraging of energy resources to achieve geopolitical objectives. And 4, the surplus of oil available in the market with continuing production by oil producing countries. These dynamics have combined to create the current situation where, in order to successfully navigate this period of price turbulence, we must continue to act carefully and responsibly. It is noteworthy to recall that when I was a member of the government in the 90s, the oil price fell to as low as $9 per barrel. Yet, the economy was kept strong, investor confidence remained high, and stability was maintained. I make this reference to reinforce the point that Trinidad and Tobago has been here before and was able to overcome the challenges faced. The population can feel confident that once again, the nation is fortunate to have a government in place that has demonstrated responsible fiscal policies, that has balanced investments in social programs and people-centered development, whilst simultaneously turning the fragile economy we inherited in 2010 into the stable and strong one that it is today. Our economic reforms since 2010 have halted the decline, driven growth, and repositioned us to a place where we have settled over 80 outstanding wage negotiations, which we inherited, resolved the long outstanding $20 billion CL-HCU matter, and settled the huge debt to contractors amounting to over $2 billion. Our management of the economy has fortified us enough to manage challenges in a manner that will minimize the impact on our citizens. Today, the economy is strong and in good shape. Continued careful management of our priorities by placing people and country first will keep us on a path to growth and progress. When we took on the task of restoring stability, confidence and growth in 2010, we implemented a modern economic management system which was able to respond immediately to fluctuations and trends in the world economy. And since October 2014, we have been evaluating a number of scenarios so as to be prepared for the possible challenges we will face ahead. It is also worthwhile to note that the International Credit Rating Agency, Standard & Poor's, and Moody's, and the U.S. Energy Information Administration have all projected that oil will rebound to between US $62.7 and US $70 in the near to medium term. However, in this fiscal year, we have decided to use an even more conservative assumption of an average of US $45 per barrel oil and US 2.25 per MMBTU for gas in order to adjust our national budget. What this means is that the shortfall we may experience in Trinidad and Tobago will be in the region about $7.4 billion DT. It is worth noting that our fiscal discipline has allowed us to deliver a budget deficit for 2014 of $2.6 billion DT. This figure is $3.7 billion or 55% less than the projected budget deficit of 2014. So it is also very important to note that Trinidad and Tobago has been a gas-based economy for nearly 2 decades. We produce over 8 times more natural gas than crude oil on an energy equivalent basis. A large portion of our energy production and exports is, therefore, gas-based. In fact, I am told that natural gas now contributes roughly 65% of total energy revenue. These factors all play an important role in how we adjust our spending to maintain steady growth and stability. Fellow citizens, the things that matter most to you are the things that matter most to us as a government. Therefore, with the necessary adjustments, we will ensure that we do not compromise in certain areas and that we will continue, one, to provide protection for the most vulnerable and disadvantaged, to ensure that the pace of business activity continues, to preserve jobs and personal incomes, to intensify our efforts in making our nation safer, to maintain our successful investments in education, which has already reaped so many rewards, to make improvements in the quality of healthcare so urgently required, and to keep our commitment to critical infrastructure projects, including with respect to schools, hospitals, the energy sector via San Fernando to Mayaro platform project, and indeed our housing program. Today in 2015, our macroeconomic indicators, which are the indicators we use to measure our economic strength as a regional leader and global player, are far better than the economy we inherited in 2010. These fundamentals are stronger than ever, and they include as follows. Our unemployment remains historically low at 3.6%. At the end of December 2014, our foreign reserves stood at US $11.3 billion, about TT $73 billion, an increase of almost 30% from 2010, and the highest ever in the history of our country. Import cover has climbed from the 10.4 months in 2012 to about 12.7 months in 2014, again, the highest in our country's history. The Heritage and Stabilization Fund has increased by over US $2 billion since 2010 to US $5.5 billion. This represents an increase of over 65% since 2010. New investment in the energy sector is projected in this year, 2015, to be well over US $2 billion, averaging about TT $13 billion. Inflation remains in single digits, down from the double digits that we inherited in 2010. Our debt remains comparatively low, with public sector debt to GDP at approximately 40.6%. In December, Standard & Poor's reaffirmed Trinidad and Tobago's A credit rating with a stable outlook for the economy. And most important, or equally important, is that our balance of payments is robust, stronger than ever, and our dollar continues to be strong and stable. The same prudence with which we managed the economy since 2010 to bring us to a position of resilience and stability will be used in shifting our priorities and maintaining stability. How do we adjust these priorities, and what are we adjusting? In moving forward, there will be areas where we must moderate or redirect our spending in order to manage the present situation, always making sure that we keep people and country first. Reviews of our PSIP and recurrent expenditure are ongoing, with the aim of identifying savings of approximately $4.5 billion. You can be assured that these adjustments are aimed at preserving employment levels and job security. Amongst the areas identified for redirectional spending, and indeed in helping us to make up the shortfall of the $7.5 billion resulting from the decline in the oil prices, these are the areas that we will consider. Infrastructure projects for which funding has not yet been confirmed. Lower expenditure on non-critical goods and services, and allocations in selected ministries by about 15%. And since there is an inverse relationship between the price of gas, the price of oil, and the petroleum subsidy, a lower price for oil results in a lower petroleum subsidy. This is estimated, with our revised conservative average of $45 per barrel, this is estimated to be about $1.4 billion in expenditure savings. So this will take us to about $4.5 billion towards making up the shortfall of $7.5 billion. Any additional shortfall will be met from revenues generated as a result of our continued public offering program, and I'll speak a little more of that in a short while. So these are some of the areas for adjustment and rescheduling. And this is where we will hold to our vision. With adjustments in our spending priorities, government will ensure that our long-term vision remains, that is, to keep people and country first. Economic diversification. In the time since taking office, we have taken the concept of economic diversification beyond talk, and today we are well within the process of building new sectors for the future economy. For example, today our manufacturing sector contributes 9% of GDP. Our financial services sector, including real estate sector, contributes about 15% of GDP. Revenue from the non-energy sector has increased by over $13 billion between 2010 and the present. So in addition to our revenue from the energy sector, the non-energy sector is playing an increasingly important role. In the energy sector, our reforms have finally delivered the first signs of increasing oil production since 2005, with expansion in land and marine exploration, and for the first time in our history, the advance of deep-sea exploration. Government will continue its investment in these and other new sectors that will support a gradual shift from the heavy reliance on energy resources to a broader-based economy. Adjusted priorities will also see us intensifying our collaboration for public-private partnerships. Part of what will make a fully transformed and diversified economy will be greater business participation, and it is our intention to increase the private sector footprint in our economy. We will intensify the advance of initial public offerings, a program which has recorded great success with the FCB Limited IPO, and which realized about $1 billion for the Treasury of Trinidad and Tobago. In delivering his budget statement last September, the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Economy indicated that the FCB IPO added more than 8,000 new investors, and that we were well on our way to achieving the public policy objective of the widest possible participation of all citizens in share ownership. This program will continue with the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited offering to the national community 49% of their shareholding of the Trinidad and Tobago NGL Limited, which holds 39% shareholding of the National Gas Company in Phoenix Park Gas Processors Limited. It is noteworthy that this will be the first ever listing of an energy stock on the local stock market, thereby giving citizens a direct stake in our very important energy sector. In the area of education and training, your government has also delivered tremendous progress in this area, education and training. Preschool education continues to advance to universal access. Secondary education is now fully supported by a technology platform for all students in forms 1 to 5, with over 96,000 laptops given to students and teachers, and we have built about 80 schools over the last 4 years. Tertiary education and skills training participation has achieved a milestone of 65.2% enrollment and continues to grow from the approximately 42% in 2010. Technical and vocational training now affords more opportunities for skills development to more people in more communities and in more disciplines than ever before. Our vision remains, and we place a high priority on ensuring that our nation's children and young people have every opportunity they need to build successful lives. With respect to infrastructure and construction, we say the rural enhancement and construction sectors that have been able to absorb a significant amount of semi-skilled labor, we will continue in that regard. A shift in our spending and investment priorities will see a maintained focus on transport and community infrastructure, rural development, and construction. The energy corridor. The San Fernando to Mayaro Highway remains a key investment for us to fully create the energy corridor in the south, where for decades a great deal of our energy wealth has been extracted and or generated. By providing a strong link between the marine operations in the southeast and the industrial operations in the southwest, we will be securing energy for today and for future generations with the energy corridor highway San Fernando to Mayaro. Indeed, even as we shift priorities in government spending, we fully appreciate the need for strong and sustained social policies. To maintain our goals of a better quality of life for all, the system of support grants, senior citizens' pensions, the new minimum wage, and care support for new mothers will be maintained. Further measures to ensure that greater care is placed on managing us through this period of adjustment include Ministry of Finance and Economy and the Central Bank will continue to work closely to ensure that fiscal policy and monetary policy are calibrated and aligned as an additional measure to preserve stability. The Central Bank has also stepped up its supervisory vigilance to respond to any emerging risk to domestic financial stability arising from the decreased energy prices. I have instructed the Minister of Finance and Economy to collaborate with the relevant stakeholders in our country to monitor the state of the economy in the coming months and to report on a regular basis to Cabinet. As I close, I say, fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, in the 4.5 years, we have managed the economy and our resources with great care and dedication to ensure that our people and country are always first. It is because we have the experience and capacity to weather these challenges, and because we have been here before, that we have positioned the economy on a strong footing that make these commitments and assurances possible. The adjustments in our priorities will continue to create greater harmony between social progress and economic advancement, and we will successfully manage the challenges and emerge stronger together. I am of the firm view that this is no time for sudden changes in the direction of economic development policies. Such an approach would negatively impact your comfort, investor confidence, business expansion, and employment. I am also of the firm view that using a period of challenges to promote fear and panic will be irresponsible and will have the impact of creating problems where in fact no such problems exist. We can withstand the lower oil prices, and indeed I say respectfully, the right government is in place at the best possible time. Since 2010, whilst the world reeled from recession, this administration has curbed wanton spending and redirected resources in the best ways. This has kept us strong and progressive. I take this opportunity to pay tribute to the two Ministers of Finance and Economy we have had guiding us over the past 4.5 years. As a result of their stewardship and the philosophy of my government to keep our development people-centered and responsible, Trinidad and Tobago stands steady and strong. Currently at the helm of the nation's Ministry of Finance is one of our nation's most highly regarded ministers ever, in Mr. Larry Hawaii. His experience and expertise is second to none. He accepted the offer to serve his country and is doing so admirably. I wish also to thank the permanent secretaries and the ministers, of course, in the Ministries of Finance and Economy, Minister of Planning, Sustainable Development and his PSs and staff, all the respective technical staff, and of course Minister of Energy and their technical staff for the contributions you have made in the past 4.5 years and which you continue to make. To all the public-spirited citizens who took the time to send in suggestions, ideas, to share your thoughts, I wish to thank you most sincerely for your very valuable contributions. I remain steadfast in always listening to the collective wisdom of the people and will continue working to secure your lives and your well-being and to building a better future for all. History will record this period as one of our finest hours when we stood strong, made the right choices, exercised the right amount of restraint, held the right course, and indeed saw the right results. We have the capacity, we have the will, we have the passion to secure our future. As I said before, together we will emerge stronger. May God continue to bless you all, and may God continue to bless Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you very much.